thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And share and like if you like it, you know. My name is Shauna Whittingham.
Sean Spalding.
John Wilson.
And Keith Harris. You're a and Keith Harris.
Yeah, that's two again.
Your introduction was very nice, by the way.
She's classic.
Because it's such a drastic. Keith Harris.
Keith Harris. Thank you for joining.
It sound like the black man on TV, the broadcaster. Hey, live from Houston, Free West, we'll bring to you with Keith Harris. Live at 6.
Nice. Breaking news.
Alright, so today's topic is dancehall versus soca.
Hot.
Right?
Yep.
Interesting. So we thought it would be appropriate at this time to talk about this subject. Carnival just finished in Jamaica not too long ago, in Trinidad, Barbados, all the other islands that are involved. But specifically, Jamaica just ended this past weekend, so we thought we would address this topic.
Yeah, some of us are still recovering, right?
Some of us, I don't know who.
Well, we know Shauna had a great time in Jamaica Carnival with a lot of our friends that were able to go down and party.
Yes, yeah, I am definitely, I don't know if I would categorize myself as a soca junkie like a lot of my friends do, but I do love it. I grew up on soca. I grew up on calypso, soca. When my parents had a party in Jamaica, they actually played calypso and soca more so than they did reggae. But before we get into all of that, who wants to start? Let's talk about the origins of both, and you can pick anyone that you want. The origins of dancehall and or soca.
Well, because you said dancehall and soca. I'm just gonna let you go with.
No!
You can go with soca, and then I'll come back. I'll rally back with some dancehall.
Okay.
Well, soca music, I think we all know soca started in Trinidad. But there is some controversy as to when it started. But for the most part, I think people attribute that to Shorty, Lord Shorty, or as he was later called, Ras Shorty, which was with his song Indrani. And
Ironic, right?
Yeah. So the guy who started soca became a Ras later on. But yeah, we'll get into that. So his song Indrani, they say, was the first actual soca song. And that was because it brought in the chutney, the East Indian influence, the African influence, and Western music influence, which was the African and the Western was part of calypso, right? And then you bring in the East Indian influence, making it soca. Right. So if you want to get into the actual name, soca is soul, which is the soul, but not soul music like Motown and R&B, but the soul of music, right? Which is from that East Indian influence he was trying to bring in, and the cat, which is calypso. So that's where it comes to, and it, being soca.
Alright, and when it comes to the dancehall, I think some of the names that were quite prevalent back in the days, you know, they used to have dance that our parents probably used to talk about. I'm going to the dance and so forth, but it used to just be a selection of music. And I think it was around the late 60s, early 70s that they started to have like U-Roy and people like these that used to talk over the music. And the
everything.
What you mean, man? Like a lizard on a limb. Yeah. And the part that everybody really liked was it was not just for the rich at that part, because if one person had a selection of records, they could come out at the corner and they could play the music for everybody, and everybody would gather around and then they would listen to the music at that time. But then you would also have somebody who would just nice it up, you know, some U-Roy would nice it up. Back then you used to have like Coxon and all them guys, like they used to be recording, and King Tubby's and so forth, you know, and King Jammys and so forth. So these guys are what we would call the originators of the dance. They used to have all the dub plates, they used to have all the artists coming to them and so forth as the big recording studios and so forth. So from that, not everyone could afford it. So you know, the ghettos are.
So it was the people's music.
It was the people's music, and that is exactly what I wanted to get to let everybody know it was the people's music. And also when they started to have DJs that used to sing over it, they used to cover current events at that time.
Yeah.
So it was also delivering a message, whether it be love or what happened in the area or what's going on. There also was some news that was delivered about oppression and so forth that started at that time. So not only in the recording, but in the dance hall. It was just said over the mic as it happened.
So thank you, gentlemen, for that history lesson. So moving on to where we are now. So we talked about where it came from, and there's lots that happened in between what the both of you talked about versus present day. So we kind of have to fast forward since we only have half an hour segment. So Dawn, where we are now, share with us your opinions about either one or even both.
So I grew up in a very strict household. So we did listen to a lot of calypso music and a lot of culture, but definitely not dancehall in my household. So I don't relate to, as my friends would say, when the calypso music come on, I just stand up because I'm more culture reggae girl. And
I can attest to that.
And then the dancehall is not part of, you know, the upbringing that I'm accustomed to. So people would refer to me as a traditional uptown girl, but I still relate to both because it's all part of our culture as Caribbean people. I think where we are today, we're seeing an increase in calypso music and soca music as far as carnival, as it relates to in the Caribbean and especially in Jamaica. So there's, you know, the dancehall side of it is not as popular when calypso is around or is not receiving the attention. It's getting less attention, but then calypso and soca is only seasonal to me and to a lot of people. But at the same time, there's definitely a break between the two versus a coming together as a Caribbean nation as we see our music.
Some of what you said is very interesting. I find very intriguing. For me, I think it's apples and oranges. It's definitely two different genres, if you will. So there's been a lot of talk especially since Carnival just ended in Jamaica, about the hypocrisy of even some of the people who attend the Carnival events, how it's the same skimpy dressing, it's the same gyrating or similar gyrating, yet the uptown folks find it acceptable and even partake versus looking down and speaking down about the dance hall. But for me, now I'll come out and I'll say that I like and appreciate both. If you were to honestly ask me if I have a preference, I do prefer the lesser of the vulgarity, especially in the lyrics. But I love the beat and I love the rhythm of dancehall to the point where I don't even necessarily listen to the words present day. But let's kind of talk about that. Whoever wants to chime in about, do you see a disparity or do you think socially it's equally acceptable, understanding if you guys agree that it's really two separate genres?
Well, I totally do think that there's very few that meld the two. And there's going to be soca people and there's going to be dancehall. Now if you ask me personally, tons of my friends love soca. And I love the old time calypso. And I love to hear some lyrics. I love to hear lyrics. And it comes back to the old time dancehall too. I love the old time dancehall lyrics. And what I would love to do is share dancehall, share my culture with some people who don't know about it, but with the explicit lyrics and stuff, it's hard to really say, well, what they're talking about, my friend, is this or that, you know.
Down in your throat.
And all these things, right? So at the same time, it's like, it's because of the lyrics, it's pushing me away. But the rhythm, and the way they write it, and the energy and so forth, you
Dancehall in particular?
Sweet, yes.
Okay.
It's nice, man, it's nice.
Yeah.
When it comes to soca, I always, you know, my friend from Trinidad, Barbados, Guyana, and so forth, when I listen to the music, I get that vibe too, and I get into the rhythm also, and I can appreciate it just as much as I do the dancehall. But I am finding myself is doing now is listening to less dancehall because of how explicit it is, and listening to more soca. And or I just continue to listen to the old dancehall.
Like the 90s.
Right. So the new stuff, I'm like, I wish I could listen to it because I hear the beat. Then I hear the rhythm and it's nice, but I just can't play it, you know, because all the time you're like, oh, sorry, oops, sorry. You know?
Unless you're listening to the clean version, which is a lot of bleep.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Sean.
Well, full disclosure, if you ask me what I play in the car if I'm driving, I like conscious reggae music, right? That's what I like, right? But I have a thing for dancehall. I love dancehall also, but more. And this is relative to the age, right? I have affinity for like 90s dancehall, you know, that kind of time, you know. Boss, who else? Red Dragon, well, that was like late 80s. Yeah, Flower Gun, you know, Baby Weight, yeah, the Big Clash, yeah. So that's where my nostalgia and where my thing come for dancehall. I like soca too. I grew up in a household that both parents of soca used to play soca music all the time, you know. But there's a place. It's like you said, they're two completely different things. There's a reason why I'm not blasting dancehall, today's dancehall in my car, and I think it's relative to my age. Admittedly,
and we have kids.
Yeah, we have kids, and you know the words that are used, but some of the words that are used in soca, I don't want the kids hearing either. But in dancehall, it tends to be there's a lot of angst in dancehall, but it needs to be there. And I say that, and I know I'm going to get pushback on it. It needs to be there because it's social commentary, it's political commentary, and you will never see a revolution start by old people. I'm 45 years old. People like me don't start revolution. People like you don't start revolution. Young people start it. So the political commentary that comes out in dancehall has to be there. And who am I to judge art? That's art. That's artistry that is coming out. So I can't judge it. It's not. It's sometimes it come across a bit harsh for me. You know, the big up hunting and all jumping up and jumping off of the rafters and landing on the girl and thing. Yeah, you know, hey, listen, this is not my thing, but hey, go on to it, just don't fuck your leg.
The lights are on fire, ladies. The lights are on fire. Need to stop.
Excuse me, what's up, Pum?
Dawn, do you believe that soca might possibly be outshining dancehall from where you stand or sit? What's your opinion?
I think for me personally, because so many of my friends enjoy soca, I'm starting to listen to it more and vibe more to it.
Come over to the dark side.
I'm not sure it's outshining. I don't think one can outshine the other because they both bring their strengths, so to speak. I just think for the mature people, which is what Sean is saying, we're at a certain age, and even for a younger generation, I think we try to outdo something. We're trying to outdo something by the hitting on our private areas with bricks or light them on fire. And I think nobody really wants to see that. We want to enjoy.
It's good TV. It's good TV.
Right.
No, it's awful. It's awful.
But
look at the ratings.
Here's the problem, or part of it is, as a nation, Caribbean, Americans, Canadians, wherever you are in the country, we are changing as a society. We're changing, you know, a lot of the lyrics for dancehall, for example, lash out against gays. People are more accepting of people's choices around the world.
No.
So when you have dancehall still talking about, kill this person or
Yeah, there's no place for it.
Batman this and that, that's what's happened for Jamaicans still to be in that mindset to
Right.
sing about
It's
it.
backwards.
The rest of the world is advancing or
Right.
moving beyond that to accept
Right.
people's differences.
And you bring up a good point because there's the Caribbean, which is what we're about and we're talking, but then there's internationally. Where does the music or the genre belong, or where can it go? And I think to your point, if in dancehall they're talking about things that are not socially accepted internationally, then you're stifling.
Yeah.
You're stifling this art.
Exactly.
With all due respect, even though some of the lyrics in soca music may even be, I would go as far as to say lewd, it's still done in a very clever and an artistic manner. I mean, the dance hall is raw.
So you're saying the dancehall is not done in an artistic manner?
It is done in an artistic manner, but in my humble opinion, it's somewhat limiting in terms of the fact that it's so, anti-gay or pum pum this or shut up this or kill that. You know what I mean? You don't hear those type of lyrics in soca music. And again, they're not the same.
Alright.
But
Let's ask ourselves a question. When you're in the music business, you also want to get an award, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any soca Billboard awards?
There are different awards within that.
But the
But
big
I'm talking
ones,
internationally,
Billboard,
and so
BET.
forth, and so forth. So listen to this now. We used to have that from when Shabba and these guys were getting these awards, and then you have Supercat get, and you have Shaggy get, and Sean Paul get, and so forth. But here's the thing now, some of these youth like Vibes Cartel, are they gonna perform at a Billboard award? Are they gonna?
Vibes in prison, so.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Right.
They're not there. So most of the artists that we said we'd like to win these awards, are they gonna perform those songs on a Billboard award? You just have to think about the big scale, right?
But let me ask you this. You're saying, will they be able to perform at an award show? So is that the goal? Because I would contest that may not even be the goal. Who cares about an award? Maybe it's about, is it being received by the people and does it promote change? Because that is the origins of dancehall / reggae. That's the origins of that, this spark in change.
But
it's exposure, right?
Right.
Well, yeah.
Right. So at the end, for exposure, right? You have to come on the radio to begin for even people to hear or know your hit. So a Vibes Cartel might successfully be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we in prison, but anyway, we're doing that through whatever.
But for the DJ though, that's the DJ.
Right. But then what's the next step?
I mean,
Can you
Because
get
it just stays
because here's the
locally.
thing now, your music hot, right? You have a hot hit. And them a play it on the radio and it's nice. Now people want to see you perform it.
yeah.
No, but before we even get to the world stage, people want to see you perform it. Can you do? A Vibes Cartel can't do that.
Oh, where? Well, depends where. I think he can.
But he's not able to.
But let's put the whole prison thing out. Put that aside, right? Since we're going to talk about vibes, right? I would say that yes, he can perform it. Because the one thing that reggae and dancehall lads have been able to get away with is a lot of them, because sometimes they have coarse language or inflammatory language, and sometimes they get away performing that in other countries because they don't pick up on the meaning of these words as quickly.
True.
So they would get to perform it. So yeah, I think exposure will still be there.
Well,
I don't think that the radio is necessary in this day and age, the radio, because there's so many, without mentioning any, there are many other avenues online you can get exposure.
Right. Yeah, I understand that, but these online things drives ratings only, but not the awards for some reason.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
So you will make a lot of money from it, though,
Yeah.
You understand the difference? So you'll make a lot of money from it, but the accolades that you would normally get would
But I don't think that's
the traditional.
I don't think that's. I really don't think that that's the goal across the board. I don't think it's about accolades. I think it's more about there's respect and there's recognition. but the accolades, these awards, I don't think that's really the goal.
But forget the awards.
No, that's sometimes that hurts your reputation.
No, but forget the awards for now. You have the music, right? You love the music. Who's your favorite artist? I don't care what genre. Who's your favorite artist right
Living,
now?
dead or alive?
No, alive right now.
Alive? Oh God, I just too
Pick one
way
who
too
we're
many
just
to choose.
listening to, like a conscious, like.
I mean, in reggae.
A sizzler.
It don't have to. Give me your favorite artist in reggae right now.
Oh, man, I don't know. I like Chronics. I like Kabaka.
Chronics. All right, let's just stick with one. Chronics. Okay. So you like Chronics music, and if you heard that Chronics was gonna be performing 3 miles away from here, would you go?
Yeah.
Right, because you like his music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you would appreciate seeing him in person, hearing his music live. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so most people are like you. That's what they want. You know, they
want to see the artist.
Eventually, yes. So forget the awards for now. The point is, what's next after listening to music? Let me not necessarily even personally meet this person, but let me hear his or her voice live. Let me watch them perform. What these dance hall artists, the way they're living and the way they're operating, we can't do that.
Why?
Because
Can't get visa.
they can't travel.
Can't
They're in a
be
jail. They're just, it's a mindset.
But you have a lot of artists in all genres that they can't leave their home country because they can't get visa also.
But it's very rare you'll hear it in soca, as we're talking about soca versus dancehall.
Dancehall.
So it will be a little bit more, you'll hear it a lot more places, a lot more performances, more doors will open for them to come in, and they will be available to perform.
Well, I think that's relative, because if you look on it from just from an objective point of view, and listen, this is the point where you guys can comment, right? But with dancehall, I think you have a lot more artists, even in Jamaica, outside of Jamaica as well, worldwide, that are budding dancehall artists. I don't think you have the same amount of soca artists in Trinidad and outside that are budding soca artists.
No.
So you're not going to see the same people being held back for whatever immigration purposes come out and
Is it a competition thing, you think, because it's so saturated in the dancehall as opposed to the soca?
Well, I think competition breeds excellence, but I don't think you get the same drive or push in soca just because you don't have as many people. I think soca is coming into its own. And you know.
I'm finding now that we're talking about this, the avenues are really, it's just not a straight and clear-cut soca or reggae or
there's fusion
happening now, and everything is melding with R&B and soca and reggae and dancehall and jazz and everything, and it's just
the thing I found funny is, Don, you're talking about the household that you were brought up, a very strict household, and you preface what you're saying, very strict household, and we didn't listen to dancehall. We didn't listen to that. We listened to a lot of calypso and soca. And if we're honest, I think that is the view of a lot of people in the Caribbean as who listens to soca, who participates in soca events, and who listens to dancehall and who goes to dancehall events.
Yeah.
Because there is a lyrical component to it, but do you think that there is a class component to it as well as a racial component to it?
My household wasn't
let's be honest.
But I didn't grow up listening to reggae or dancehall in my household.
Not reggae either?
No, when my parents had a party, it was calypso.
Yeah.
No disco?
Disco.
Funky chicken.
The point is, I really didn't start listening to dancehall until I moved to this country.
Yeah.
I mean, I would go out in Jamaica, and obviously, there was dancehall or what have you, but it was not played at my parents' parties. So it brings us to the next topic, which is it's socially equally acceptable.
Are they both?
Well, I tell you what. From where I see it, when you go to what would be considered, some people say highfalutin, or a high class or an expensive party. You're not really going to hear the nitty gritty. I don't want to use that person name because I love him too. So like gritty. No, I don't use that name either because I love him also. But the grimy type of dancehall that you would hear on the street, you wouldn't hear those there. But you'd hear all the soca. And then when you go down and you go to another level, it's like it's just open season.
I couldn't wear a Rasta color belt in my house. We didn't openly listen to reggae in my household because I believe, I could be wrong, and my father is still living, so he can speak to this, but I believe my parents associated reggae with weed smoking.
Well,
they didn't want their children coming home. I'm sorry, but my mother used to say to me, don't come in here with no Rasta man and don't show up here pregnant. Were her two...
And that was the age group of your parents.
Right.
Age group of my parents, I mean, we're basically around the same age. Sorry, I didn't even put you on
That's all right.
But we're like around the same age, but my parents are younger than yours. So we played reggae didn't play dancehall. Yeah, didn't play dancehall in the house. I grew up and grew to friends and just being out there, I took on dancehall and was listening to it. But we listened to reggae in the house. I mean, I remember that tune. Oh, boy, yeah. So we played all different music. But I think a lot, again, it comes back to relativity. Because when Bob came out, and Peter Tosh, and these guys came out and was in the beginnings of reggae music, right? They weren't accepted. They were looked upon by the middle class and upper class in Jamaica. Just speaking about Jamaica itself, looked at them as this very music, and it's like a dread boy and thing. Worst thing is you have a friend with locks. That's the worst thing. These are all signs of reggae music. Right, so there was pushback then. Now you have the same people listen. Oh, Bob came out with that. I remember when that song came out. That's a wicked tune, that man.
Yeah.
That's a lovely tune. That brought the whole country together. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. You're fighting against that music. So now you bring that. Now I'm talking about dancehall. It's getting the pushback. Right. I'm not saying it's going to end up the same way where you look back in this golden aura of nostalgia on dancehall and say, oh, that was great, and that was great. Remember when Popcorn did that song?
Yeah, but here's the difference though. When I watch all my friends from Trinidad and Guyana and from Barbados and so forth, I looking at the old people and the young one just born. As soon as I'm born, they're ready in that soca, and the old one, a whole soca music. And between the age range, it's the same love for the music, same passion for the music, and it's different for us when it comes to the dancehall. It's just accepted differently. So you have to at least respect that soca touches from the tiniest to the most experienced.
John, do you think that there are exceptions made for dancehall, for soca that's not made for dancehall, specifically in Jamaica?
I think there is. Well, one, I think soca is marketed a lot differently. It's highlighted differently. We see it with costumes, these sexy women just displaying all their
glory.
Their glory. Their beautiful. It doesn't matter if you're slim, you're fat, your belly are hung, people are just comfortable
and
in their
smiling.
When it's time for calypso. And you definitely, see people flying in to celebrate, and it's somewhat seasonal, right? So people look forward to it, they plan for it, they spend a lot of money for these events and costumes, while dancehall is normal, right, in Jamaica. You wake up every morning and it's being played.
Yeah, the biggest.
But it goes back to the social differences. For me, is that it comes down to how raunchy the lyrics have become, and we're trying to outdo how raunchy we can be, whether it's physically or through the songs. I just don't think I want my kids listening. I definitely don't want them listening to it. and I won't listen to it either. So I'll never really play dancehall.
Well, that's going to lead us to where we want to go next before we wrap up. But, you know, I might get pushback on this, but I find that, you know, whether it's considered sexism or promotion of sex, I find that soca, specifically carnival time, where the women get dressed up in their costumes, you know, like you said, big, small, tall, short, it don't matter, you know, they're out there, they're feeling great, and in my opinion, I think it's beautiful. Now, it's the same, you're showing almost the same amount of skin, same, or similar gyrations, if you will, but it's just interesting. I've always said that there's a thin line between sexy and trashy. There's a thin line between being assertive and being aggressive, and I think this is where soca and dancehall, even though they are two different genres, you know, one comes across, in my opinion, you know, to highlight women in more of a positive way versus celebrate them versus dancehall diminishing them. What I see these women doing, what I hear the lyrics talking about, you know, there's you know, and I think in order to not have dancehall die or not get the notoriety or attention that it truly deserves, because it's a beautiful, beautiful art, is we need to, and somebody touched on it earlier, you even see, I've listened to songs that I don't know whether they're reggae or soca, so you see this infusion of the music. And in my opinion, if each of you would please share, but I think for us to move forward as a Caribbean community, is we really do need to come together.
I think it's unfair. I already saying, you know, there's two different views on seeing the two kinds of music. Like what you were saying, Keith, is the crowd, you know, you get happy listening to soca music, joyous and having a great time, whereas dancehall, yeah, like you said, you get a screw face. Yeah. But I think that may not be doing, and I hate to sound like I'm the poster child for dancehall, and I'm defending it, but I am defending it because I think it needs to be recognized that dancehall is not trying to be soca. Right. Dancehall is not trying to put smiles on people's faces all the time. Run come up in a magnum. It's not trying to put a smile on your face, but what they're trying to do, what dancehall, I mean, both genres, I think, sexualize women, right? It's one thing, do it in two different ways, but they sexualize women. But what I think dancehall tries to do is to promote the argument. Do you understand? And I think that is valuable. You can't be looking at life through rose-colored glasses all the time. Sometimes you need somebody to, you know, to spit in the eye.
Yeah, but can I comment on something like that? Because I remember when Bounty come on. Let me tell you, I used to listen to some wicked Bounty. I used to listen to some wicked, but when Ninja used to come out with some of the stuff that used to happen. You remember Tiger?
Yeah.
You know, before Tiger did and stuff. But when a lot of these DJs that came out of the hood used to DJ about what is going on, especially Bounty is a preacher.
Do you agree it's changed though?
Yeah, but these guys, even they don't. I'm Bounty, call me now, and talk to me. But I don't believe that. Yeah, you know, I don't even believe they're condoning some of the stuff that is going on, because everything that they used to talk about is how the youth them are suffering and how them, you know, if the ploys of thing and how the system is working and the machine at work and the iron feed trampling people and so forth, and it used to be in a whole bag of lyrics, and you used to come out and you listen, but the rhythm and the way them ride it, you used to enjoy it at the same time, so you used to rejoice in it, listen to this preacher, you know, but no.
The pace was easily digested there. Yes. But, and I hate, this is not about hip hop, but I have to draw comparison because same thing in hip hop. Because hip hop has now emerged into something where the rhythm has evolved into something different. It's not the same as a slower flow, you know, as it was in back then. So same thing with dancehall.
So how do we save dancehall?
Does it need to be saved?
You tell me. You tell me.
I think it's gonna save itself. Let me tell you something. If it's one thing, human beings tend to know what to wash out and what to keep. So let it go through its cycle, and it will cycle through. I don't think that is just going to end.
But why do we think it needs to be saved? Because
Just a question.
It's going to save itself.
It's just a question.
No, I asked that because I know it's not just you think that. There's a lot that thinks that question is valid, but a lot of people think it's valid. But I think it's because soca is growing so, especially in Jamaica. I mean, you just came back from Carnival. Let's see how big Carnival is now. It grows every year. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Every year.
But that doesn't mean they're mutually exclusive. One getting big does not diminish the other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
True.
But I think for dancehall, I mean, it's the street, it's the culture, it's the life, and that's what I think it should represent, or what it has represented. And it's just changed for a lot of us. And I think we want to see a difference. We want to see a more positive dancehall, but still represent the streets, the people. It has.
Or have you changed?
No, it's gotten way more
We
vulgar.
never used to light
Sean.
up our private area. We
Sean.
never used to like throw bricks on our private area.
I want to really remember something. You remember Lady Slaw?
Yeah.
Yes.
Stop up the meat. I mean, it don't get much vulgar than that. And we were singing that.
We're talking
And we used to sing, I'm getting banana. Watch out, you see where I did, bones.
Nigga like boom.
Nigga like boom.
Which I thought was
nice.
But we as a nation, we have changed, and I think Keith hit on this very well, is like, where do we want to take ourselves internationally? Because dancehall does deserve more recognition,
Yes.
but they will be banned from countries based on the lyrics that they're portraying.
Right.
So yes, it is a fabulous art, well appreciated by a lot of people internationally and in the Caribbean as well.
We didn't mention this, as we have Russians, we have Japanese, we have people coming and infiltrating the country to actually
To
learn the moves and
Japanese.
Have you ever seen Japanese dancehall, Spanish dancehall, German dancehall, French dancehall? Hey, tell you something.
Yeah.
Tell you, man.
Yeah.
I'm talking Spain.
Yeah.
But with all due respect, those people are coming to the island and they're learning, they're weaving themselves into the culture so that they can learn it and they take it back. However, Carnival just ended. There are parties or fetes that I went to this year. I was at these same parties last year, and I'll tell you that they were 3 times as big this year.
Yeah.
So it is growing. It's bringing tourists, if you will. So people are coming more for, even though it is seasonal. Dancehall is not seasonal. Dancehall is year-round. So I don't know if this topic will be continued.
Yeah, there's so many things that we didn't touch on,
Right.
but there's just so much that we can do in half an hour.
But it's healthy competition for both.
Right.
I just don't think it has to be a competition.
No, they're different.
Well, it's different.
No, friendly.
But it brings up the need to say, how can we do dancehall better? How can
why are we not asking how can we do soca better?
Because soca is coming to
It's
Jamaica.
growing.
It's growing.
Dancehall is growing in Trinidad also.
But
and
it's a
growing
great
in Guyana.
thing. It's a great thing that soca is growing in
Is that a great thing that dancehall is
Okay, for the
growing?
record, I love
You
dancehall.
see the bias that we're having.
Okay.
I love dancehall. It's just it's just gotten way too vulgar. I can play soca music in my car with my pre-teen children. What am I name? Tween?
Yeah.
That age.
Teenagers.
I can't
Sure.
do it. I cannot do it with dancehall. So maybe it's me. Maybe it's my stage of life.
Yeah, would you have played in 1996? Would you have played that certain tunes in the car with your mom? Certain dancehall tune that you were listening to at the time?
I tell you, I couldn't listen to dancehall.
Yeah,
No. But anyway, all right.
Yes,
well,
to be continued.
Yes.
You
No.
see?
Well, I thank you for your participation.
Spirited conversation.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for watching this episode of
The Caribbean Edge.
Stay tuned for our next episode. Remember to like and share this video. Help us get the word out. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We'll see you next time.
One thing on the bridge is voice thing.
That's
No, listen to your DJ thing. Get him a run now.
Kill him or run. Kill him or run.
Nah, get it up.
No, you ever hear him?
No.
It's the dance. Come on.
Yeah, dancehall king.
Fine, every man put your hand up, every girl sign. No, they can't drink like we. None of them can fed like we. Can't have energy like we. Full of satin, a fly, fight like we. Fight